Places like Treblinka, historically, always starts with words. Then those words are becoming the dominant ideology. Then this ideology is politically promoted for the sake of short-term political gains. Then those words are converted into law. Then those words in law are becoming used to stigmatize, to exclude, to mark, to intimidate. At first to intimidate verbally, but finally it comes to the point when the perpetrators are starting to intimidate physically. The Kristallnacht in Germany is one of those points when the German population goes swiftly from words into actions. We call this point in the theory of comparative studies of genocide one of the points of no return. Once people get a taste in physical violence and they feel that it's verbally and legally okay, they can get compensated for that. Because, for example, they can get somebody's business or get somebody's job. This is one of the points of no return. And then it goes fast. Physical exclusion, propaganda, social alienation, then technological preparation of the crime. And then we get to a place like Treblinka, which means the murder. Beyond the murder, at least the theory of genocide is telling us that there is one more stage, which is called denial. Of course, in case of Treblinka, this denial is more than obvious. A little bit over a year after it was established, so already in late of 1943, there's not a single scrap of anything left on those territories. Pretty much throughout the entire spring and summer of 1943, the German Nazis are mostly focusing here on covering up the operation of Treblinka. Yes, most of the victims of Treblinka were murdered in this place within the first initial few months of the camp existence, from the 23rd of July 1942 till pretty much December of 1942. In the so-called Höfle report from December of 1942, which is trying to summarize the number of corpses that are buried in all of those death camps that are run in occupied Polish territories, there is already December 42. This report, this telegram is mentioning a number of over 700,000 of corpses buried in Treblinka itself. 6 months. But Treblinka carries on. In spring of 1943, the Jewish inmates, those few hundreds that are forced into operation of the camp, are forced into the operation of covering up of Treblinka existence. What did it mean at first? Well, removal of corpses. Corpses are evidence. Which means that in spring of 1943, those couple of hundreds of Jews that are here are forced to unearth the mass graves of close to 800,000 of Jews murdered in 1942 and 43. Move the corpses into open air greets and burn, so that there are no remnants left. By summer 1943, this operation is almost over. In early August of 1943, an act of utmost bravery happens in Treblinka. Those couple of hundreds of Jews that are here are managing to organize a revolt. A revolt in Treblinka is a fact. A couple of hundreds of them are trying to run. A couple of dozens of them are successfully escaping the territory. Treblinka is extremely well protected, with a number of external peripheral protection barriers. We're estimating that a little bit over 100 of them managed to run. We're also estimating that after the war finished, there might have been about 60 to 70 of them still alive. But in asking the question where Treblinka starts, we're talking a little bit about language, we're talking a little bit about ideology, we're talking a little bit about the scientific circumstances. which are just comfortably collided to play with the political ideology. We were talking a little bit about eugenics, which came into play very much. But at the end of the day, every genocide is conducted by us, human beings. So we need to talk a little bit about perpetrators. Who were the perpetrators? What makes a perpetrator? How does it happen that a boy 28 years old, yes, Kurt Franz, the deputy commandant of Treblinka, ultimately replacing Franz Strangl, the second commandant, after the revolt destroyed a large part of the camp, Strangl was sent south into Trieste, and pretty much the liquidation job of the camp over the next 3-4 months time period is given to Kurt Franz. So he has become a new commandant to liquidate the camp. So what makes a 28 years old boy to conduct an utmost of crimes here? Kurt Franz is on this territory from the very beginning of Treblinka existence, Treblinka II existence, and he's also one of the last to leave. He is actually personally conducting the shooting of the last Jewish labor detachment that was used in taking apart Treblinka barracks.
We have this section, still, the administrative section. You don't need a lot of personnel to run this place, because if you apply science and you apply technology, you can limit the number of people involved. This is what industrialization brings. We can do it producing shoes, we can do it killing people. Why not? The same size. So actually this camp is the perfect answer to all of those problems that the German Nazis identified in September of 1941. And the problems were costs, evidence, corpses, and my, as a perpetrator, exposure to you as my victim. Treblinka is resolving all of these problems. It's cheap. The corpses are accumulated in one area, so it's not scattered around. And me as a perpetrator, I don't have to participate in it. In between you as my victim and me as a perpetrator, there's very convenient technology. I don't have to look into your eyes now. I moved on into another level of murder.